you and welcome everyone here, family and friends. The people that I'll introduce people in our family, so so the friends locally can get to know who's related to Hy and Eleanor here. And I'll tell you what we're going to go through today. So, as I said, my name is Mark Solomon. I'm the oldest son of Hy and Eleanor. My wife, Madi, is here, and my daughter, Zelda.
Stand up for a minute.
People can see you. Hi. And my brother Bob is here with his family as well. That's Bob Solomon. And that's his children, wife Rosa.
Hi.
And
Mario.
his Mario. Good.
Mitza.
And I'm the
And Joel, who's a local brother.
Local. My wife Leah.
Hi.
And son Jake.
Sort of speak in turn in the family. The brothers will have something to say about Hy, and then other family and whoever would also like to speak from cousins. Our cousin Terry is here from Philadelphia. Stand up, Terry, please. And our cousin Lorna is here, represent other branch of the family. My father's brother and sister. This is their children representing the other branch of the family. So it's really been a long time since so many of our family has gathered here in one place, and it's very nice to see them all here. After the family talks, has a chance to say something, the floor will be open to whoever else would like to say anything, to share a memory or a story about Hy. And you're welcome to either come up here and speak, or you can stand up right where you are, as long as it'd be nice to know who you are if we haven't met you. And please speak loud enough so my mother Eleanor can hear you.
I know, that's my biggest problem.
And when everyone's had a chance who'd like to speak, you're not obligated, of course, but you're more than welcome to share any story or memory of Hy that you'd like. My mother will finish this sort of more formal part of our day together, and then we'll have sort of a receiving line. You can say to speak to Eleanor directly if you haven't had a chance to yet. There is a condolence book at the front table where if you'd like to write down some memory or just to say that you were here, it would be a nice keepsake for my mom. And then we'll repair to the rear where we have a chance to have something to eat and drink together, because it's something like a Solomon breakfast, which was the most popular meal of the week in our family, and so there's lots of bagels and things that you can have shared together and talk more informally. So I guess since I'm up here, I'll get to go first. And I have a memorial of any kind of, even an informal one like this, is not something that my father really liked the idea of. Some people do plan out in detail what they would like to happen at an event like this, and who they would want to invite or not invite, and what they would want to happen, and what kind of music to play, and that kind of thing. And my father was not like that. He thought, what do I need a memorial for? I'm not going to be there. It's not for me. And no matter how much we tried to impress on him that it wasn't really for him exactly, but for us as people who remember him to share. So despite your wishes, Dad, we're going to do this anyway. And I'm wondering why he didn't want something like this. And the first thing is that it didn't have to do with him, that he wasn't going to be invited. I thought, gosh, is that selfish? Is it that he didn't think that people would come out for Jaime Solomon from South Philadelphia, that people would care about to remember at an event like this, that it wasn't worth the trouble. And I realized that I think what it is that it was difficult for him to receive affection from other people. He didn't we had a big birthday, I think, when he was 60, when he was still living in Philadelphia, where lots of people came to sort of give tribute to Hy. And he said, okay, enough already, I get it, enough. And because he can't object, we all get a chance now to really speak on what's on our mind. And so that's what we're going to do. Because it is a chance to express our love and support for Hy, and to tell the stories and memories that we have. And I'm really glad to see so many people here to do that and to share with the family to do this. And so I thought about, like, what did I receive from my father, Hi? And I thought about, to start with, I thought about the things that I have to say, as a Jewish oldest son, the things I did not get. I did not get any mechanical skills from my father. That was not his strong suit. Somehow my brother Bob got more of this than I did from somehow. But his idea of mechanical skills is when we were small boys, he would offer us at night before we would go to bed the choice between a bedtime story or we could see how the toilet works. And sometimes we did in fact choose to see how the toilet works. And he would lead us in our pajamas into the bathroom, lift the lid of the cistern up, and we would see the mystery of mysteries, how the toilet functioned when you flush the toilet. So there was that interest in mechanical things. The main quotes I remember from him is that he would say, "This is a one-man job, I don't need any help from you. And I don't have the right tools, so we have to improvise." The other things that he would say, the other thing that I did not get from him, I have to say, is a love of animals. He was not a fan of pets. The main thing I would hear, some of this is due to the fact that he had allergies to dander that he's passed on to me. And I don't know if any of my other brothers, no, you guys don't have that stuff. But horses and bee stings and dogs were serious things for him that he did not like. We would hear, the one time I remember when we were kids and we had a chance to maybe get a dog. Bob was the animal lover in our family growing up. And there was a German Shepherd who was lost on the street, it was in Winfield. And Bob thought that if he could lead the dog into the house with a trail of salami and steps, that we could get the dog into the house, into the basement, and then close him inside, that we would have a chance to make the case to our father that we should keep a dog, that it was a good idea to have a dog, because my mother loved dogs and had dogs growing up. So that was the plan, that we would have the dog in the basement, and then we would try to make the case to my dad that we'd be able to keep this dog. And as I speak, there's a deer with tall antlers directly behind us here, representing the animal kingdom. Yeah. See him?
Good luck.
Riding in on a deer.
Maybe if we leave the trail of salami, then you get to keep the deer. But for some reason, my father that evening came into the house in an unusual way through the basement. So the first thing that we heard when we were expecting him home is this incredible barking from this big dog down in the basement. We did not get to see this. I would have loved to have seen my dad's face when he met this dog who was a surprise in the basement, who must have shocked him. And the case was over before it started. We were not going to get to keep that dog. And since then we would hear, "Get that cat out of here." There's a frequent expression from my dad. So we did not get from him a love of animals. I did get that from my wife, Madi, in later years, and glad to know that I can indeed have a pet and enjoy animals. But the things that I did receive from my dad is that he had a great love of life and enthusiasm for the things that he did like. And it was a wonderful thing to see what he enjoyed in life, because he loved them so much. He loved food. And he would, I think of it sort of like a Jewish bear teaching its offspring to hunt smoked salmon. Standing in the right spot to know the right Jewish deli. And in Philadelphia, we would go to Nick's Roast Beef and to Levis Hot Dog and get a hot dog and a champagne cherry soda. And he treated these with the love of ritual, to go to these places and have these things that meant a lot to him. The other thing that he taught me is he loved baseball and trained, embedded in me a love of being a fan of the Philadelphia Phillies, where we grew up. Of course, the first year that he trained me to be a Philadelphia's fan, and we would lay on the floor at night and listen to the baseball games on the radio. And this was in 1964, where I first heard of baseball and understood what I was doing. I was 7 years old. which of course is the year that the Phillies were in first place at the beginning of September and did a swan dive and didn't make the World Series. And so he taught me the bittersweet love of being a baseball fan. He did love also to play catch with us and to participate in sports together. He liked to play football and baseball and throw catch with us, whether we wanted to or not. He liked to come home from work and grab his glove and a ball and play catch with us, and loved sharing that as a dad with his sons. Also, he was very physical with us and loved to wrestle. And so he would roll around on the ground, and we really learned sort of a physical affection from him. All right, should I turn this light on? Is it dark? This one?
Yeah, next one.
And so the care and attention that he gave us and affection that he shared with us in wrestling and being physically close is something that I really remember from him. His sense of humor, which if you know Hai, he loved to make people laugh. And his sense of humor I always found a little peculiar, I have to say. That I think of them as like army jokes. That I would go into a store with him, and his way he would greet the owner of the store is to say, "The prices are outrageous in here. I don't know how you can look at yourself in the mirror." And the answer he wanted to hear was, "With such lousy customers, it's no wonder I have a business at all." If somebody would say that to him, he felt like then he'd made a connection with people. And that's what he liked. And he did like performing as well and making people laugh. When he was a younger man, he did perform at the USO in Germany and performed with, in various shows where my mother and he were courting and when they were first married. And Eden did that all through his life. He did that before we were born. He became, a good provider and raised us and put us through college and all that. But when he moved to Boulder, he returned to his love of performing and doing the theater. Even to the point where a few months ago, when he was very ill with cancer and was in bed most of the days, Joanne was so nice to reach out to my dad and invite him to perform again. And he threw down his crutches and went out to perform at a senior center here in Boulder. And I think that's quite a testament to how much he loved to perform and to make people laugh.
And I wasn't being nice. She's great.
Well, it's well appreciated. I'm sure he'd appreciated that. And he did pass to me a real love for women. He really admired and respected women in a natural way, which is not, I don't know how common that is, but I feel very lucky to have been shared with that with me. And, and that leads, of course, to his love for Eleanor, who was the great love of his life. And he really taught me how to be a husband. That he was very steadfast and devoted to Eleanor for 56 years. And I learned to be patient and devoted and steadfast as my father. And I hope to match his example because I find their marriage a real inspiration to me. And it's very touching to see them together, even these last months when I was here back in December. So I want Dad to know that I did receive these gifts from him and thank him for this. And I'm very glad I have a chance to say what I've been received from my dad. And just to end, I'd just like to say a very brief a couple lines of rhyme, which he had also a great love for poetry. When a boy looks to learn from his father, to become a wise man and not a fool, if the father is high and the boys are us brothers, his advice is be good and play cool.